A small victory today for Casey Anthony's defense. The state wanting answers about how she's funding her defense, and today a judge ruled there is no conflict of interest. Also today, sworn testimony in the civil case against Casey Anthony. First to this motion hearing involving who was paying for Casey's defense and how it might affect her attorney, Jose Baez.
We do have team coverage of this big story. Amanda Ober has a reaction from Casey's attorney. But first to WESH 2's Bob Keeling. And Bob, we have some breaking news on a judge's ruling that we've actually just received here in the newsroom.
Yeah, that's right, Martha. In fact, it could be considered the second victory of the day for Jose Baez. He sought successfully to have some statements kept out of the public eye by his former private investigator, Dominic Casey. Second victory of the day for Baez, including one in court earlier today, but not before the judge also scolded him for his ongoing bad blood with the prosecutor.
Number 4, the him that you refer to, is that Mr. Baez?
Yes, it is.
Between you and Ms. Anthony, is there any literary rights fee agreement? Does one exist?
No, sir.
Judge Stan Strickland took a turn as cross-examiner to address nagging questions about Casey's defense fund.
Paragraph, oh, by the way, there was only one retainer agreement that you signed with Mr. Baez?
Yes.
All right.
There's a minefield in the path of this case. It's in the distance.
Prosecutor Jeff Ashton argued they don't want any potential conflict of interest in how Baez may have raised money for Casey's defense to blow up in their faces later.
We simply want this on the record now so that 5 years from now, we aren't coming back on this case with the potential of having to retry it, wasting all the time you put into it.
When it came to specific questions about how Baez is paying expenses, he was granted permission to answer the judge's questions behind closed doors. Minutes later, the judge returned satisfied.
This was just a motion to determine whether a conflict existed. My finding is it does not.
As an exhibit to make comments to the press.
The judge ruled there was no conflict of interest between Baez and Casey, but this tense court session revealed a clear and developing conflict between Ashton and Baez.
Thank you. That's it.
No, no.
You know what? This is getting old.
And this is getting old, the words uttered actually by the judge in the case. But for now, he's satisfied there's no conflict when it comes to how Casey's funding her defense team. But for those who've been asking that question for months, they walked away from this hearing dissatisfied. Reporting live at the Orange County Courthouse, Bob Keeling, WESH 2 News.
WESH reporter Amanda Ober continues our team coverage from our WESH 2 newsroom. And Amanda, did Casey Anthony's parents have anything to say today at this hearing?
Well, in a word, they said nothing. George and Cindy Anthony were surrounded by media on their way out of the courthouse, but they were tight-lipped.
You guys want?
When George and Cindy Anthony left the courtroom Wednesday, they were pulled aside by their daughter's attorney for a private meeting.
Guys, can we have a minute, please?
Baez was overheard reassuring the Anthonys he'd done nothing wrong, and they parted with an embrace between Cindy and Jose. Outside the courthouse, the Anthonys did not respond to questions.
And I know that the Anthonys don't want to speak, but can you just tell us how it was for them to see Casey today?
It's always good to see their daughter. Always.
Cindy, do you want to say anything?
No, there's no comment.
Well, the Anthonys didn't speak after the hearing. Baez did.
We're glad this is behind us. I've told everyone all along that the defense has not done anything unethical in any way, shape, or form.
When asked the burning question, how is Casey paying for her defense, Baez wouldn't budge.
It's no one's business. I have confidential information that I get through the attorney-client relationship, and I can't disclose this information.
Now, as Bob Keeling mentioned, in court today, Baez did push some buttons with the prosecution, and it did lead to a terse exchange and even a scolding by the judge. I'll bring you more on that coming up on WESH 2 News at 6. Live in the newsroom, Amanda Ober reporting WESH 2 News.
Amanda, thanks. Meantime, the civil case against Casey Anthony played out down the street from today's criminal proceedings. The civil case involves Zenaida Gonzalez, who claims Casey ruined her name. Attorney John Morgan took depositions from Jim Hoover and Dominic Casey. Both are private investigators. At what time both detectives who were helping the Anthonys follow up on reported sightings of Kaylee. For continuing coverage in the case against Casey, log on to WESH.com. We've posted today's entire hearing.